Hello pilots, this is lesson 9 and we are going to continue our conversation. So the goal of the neutralize phase is one way to do this is to run the program. So let's imagine we have to fly the drone from this courtyard here in the center, where you can see the little drone, to center field of this stadium. And we're required to take a picture of the emblem and then fly back. And what we're looking at here is the bird's eye view. And we can see the distance from the courtyard to center field is 617 feet. The highest structure in this stadium is 75 feet. So here seems pretty straightforward what we have to do. And to program this into drone blocks will help us to make sure we have our measurements accurate before actually flying. So now here we have the side view picture, right? So here you can see the courtyard. The distance from the courtyard to the center field is 617 feet. We're going to go up minimum 75 feet, and actually you do want to go beyond, and we saw that in last week's homework, because you want to clear it, right? Then you come center, drop down, take your picture, go back up again. Okay, so there are actually quite a few steps when programming this. Before we start programming, I wanted to explain to you how an aircraft moves. And if you think in terms of 3D, you have 3 directions in which you can move. And it's based on the center of gravity of the aircraft. So when that aircraft pitches, okay, so what that means is it's going down, flying downward, or flying upward. Okay, so the nose drops down or the nose tilts upward. Okay, another movement is called roll, and that's where the wings are now moving up and down, which helps the aircraft bank and turn. Okay, and it's a common type of turn you might find in a roller coaster where it rolls. And another turn is called yaw, and that is where the nose swings horizontally back and forth to change which way the front is facing. So with the drone, when the drone moves, it's a little more difficult to see. However, the drone going side to side is doing the roll, okay? And you can see like it tilts side to side. When it's moving front and back, that's the pitch. It's leaning forward or leaning up. And then yaw is where the nose of the aircraft is turning. So here are a few more commands in drone blocks that we can use in order to program our drone to take a picture. So in the blank box, we're going to put whatever measurements we need to put. So here in this second option, pitch gimbal to how many degrees? The gimbal is what holds your camera and moves your camera up and down, okay? And to take a picture of the emblem, we want our camera to be facing straight down, and that's actually a 90-degree angle, okay? And so that's what we're pitching the gimbal to, 90 degrees. In terms of yaw right, this has to do with, okay, we fly forward, we go down into the stadium, we're going to turn around. Rather than fly backwards, we're going to turn around and return to our starting point as opposed to flying backwards. So that's what the yaw is, all right, to turn the drone around. And then finally, there's another command that is return home and land. And you have to be careful with that command because you want to make sure you have the right clearance. You don't want it to fly right into the stadium seating. All right, so I have a little highlighter here to explain the steps of this. So we're going to take off to 85 feet. Why 85? Because we want to make sure we're clearing the highest point, which is 75 feet, right? For the second step, we are going to fly forward, okay? So we're going to go from here all the way to the center at 617 feet at 10 miles per hour, which is not terribly fast. Now we're changing altitude. So we're going to drop down to 65 feet, which takes us in here, all right? And then we're going to hover for 10 seconds. That will give us time to move our camera and take a picture. So then once it hovers for 10 seconds, it's going to pitch the gimbal. So it's going to move that camera 90 degrees. So now it's pointing straight down and you can see the emblem. It's going to take a photo. Now the next step is the drone is going to turn around completely so it's facing back the way it came. And that's a 180-degree turn. If it were 360 degrees, which is a full circle, you'd be back where you were originally. And we just want to about face, right? And then we're going to change our altitude and we're going to go back to 85 feet, which takes us to the top of the stadium here with plenty of clearance. And then we are going to fly forward 617 feet. And then the last step is to land. Okay, and that's the whole program. So it looks like a lot of steps here when you actually program it. But what it helps us to do is make sure we have all of our measurements accurate so that we are not making any mistakes. It's part of the neutralize phase. So now thinking about our flight to our hikers in the neutralize phase, we have to think about that side view, and that's not something we've really talked about. And so that's going to be your homework assignment this week, our CYU, what are we up to, 9? And the starting point, flying up and over this mountain. And what is that going to look like? And what is the best way to do that? There are actually a couple of ways that we can fly this drone. And we want to think about what's the best way to save on battery, the best way for the expertise of our pilot, and so on. So this week is about flight path, and that will be your CYU 9. And I'm going to keep it light this week because I know you all have a lot of work to do as we're wrapping up the marking period. And I want to give you time to go back and check any assignments you may have missed. So this is your homework for this week, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday. Bye.